Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the first two guitar solos from the classic Journey song, Stone in Love. Now, I probably will do the outro solo. Let me know down below if you want me to do that, and I'll get to that as time allows. But before we get started, I do want to say Neil Schon is one of my favorite all-time favorite guitar players. And you know, part of it stems from the fact that Journey's Escape was the first album I ever got when I was 10 years old. It was Christmas in 1981. And my parents got it for me for Christmas, and so there's some nostalgia involved. But what's funny is I was still a couple years away from playing guitar, and by the time I started playing guitar, I'd moved on to, you know, more heavy metal kind of stuff. But a few years later, as I really started digging into lead guitar, I went back and rediscovered Neil Schon and how fantastic of a player he is. So if you haven't checked his stuff out, I highly recommend it. And I think the Escape album is probably a good place to start. It's got a lot of great solos and guitar playing on it. Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright, here's section 1 of solo 1 at normal and then slow speed. Okay, so first you're going to play the 17th fret of the high E string. You're going to bend up, down, and then back up again. But when you bend down, partway through, you're bending down roughly halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way down, okay, like this. And if you go down all the way, most people won't notice, but it's somewhere around, you know, the 1/2 way, 3/4 of the way down that you want to go, okay? Then you're going to bend up and down again at the 17th fret of the high E string, a full step up and then back down, and then pull off to 15, and then 17th fret of the high E with vibrato. And then from there you pull off to the 15th fret, okay? That's what we have so far. Then we're going to bend up at the 17th fret of the B string and hold it for just a little bit. And then another bend at the 17th fret of the B string, up, down, pull off to the 15th fret with some vibrato. And then slide down, okay? One more time, slowly. All right, let's keep moving. All right, section 2 of solo 1 goes like this, at normal and then slow speed. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide up to the 17th fret of the B string and pull off to 15, followed by 17th fret of the G string with vibrato. Then we're going to slide back up to the 17th fret of the G string, followed by the 15th fret of the B string, and then 17th fret of the B, pull off to 15. Okay, so far we have. Then it gets a little bit tricky. Here's where it's one of those little quick bursts of notes that Neil Schon is known to do, right? He'll be playing something very melodic and all of a sudden he'll just do a little quick burst of notes, and he does that a few times in this song. So in this case what you're doing is you're playing 17th fret of the G followed by 17th fret of B. I typically bar those two strings as I'm playing it. Then you're going to play 15th fret of the high E, followed by 15th fret of the B, okay? Okay? It goes by really, really quickly, okay? And then a bend up at the 17th fret, hold it for a little bit, slide down. Now when you do that little quick part there, a lot of times I see people kind of improvise there, and to be honest, it goes by so quickly, that little flurry of notes, that if you just did something like, right, just something really basic like that, most people aren't going to know. But you guys know I try to get you to be as accurate to the original as possible. So here's this section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, now we get to the final section, number 3 of solo 1, and it goes like this at normal and then slow speed. So what you're doing here is you're going to play the 2nd fret of the G string and bend it up a full step. Then you're going to hold that bend and hit the note 6 more times before bringing the bend back down. And then you pull off to the open G string. Then you're going to play the 2nd fret of the D string, pull off to open D. Pretty simple, right? So here is this section one more time at normal and then slow speed. Okay, now that you've learned all the different licks from solo 1, let's tie them all together. So here is section 1, played slowly 3 times that you can practice along to. All right, here's section 1 of solo 2 at normal and then slow speed. All right, so first what we're going to do is we're going to play the 5th fret of the G string, applying a pinch harmonic, bend up, hold it for a little bit, bring it back down, pull off to 4. And then we're going to play the 5th fret of the D string with a pinch harmonic and somewhat wide vibrato. So far, those first 3 notes. Now for the rest of it, we're going to continue to apply pinch harmonics. And we're going to start with a 3rd fret D string quarter step bend. Okay. Then you're going to play 5, 4, 3, 1 on the A string. It's got kind of a choppy staccato feel. You kind of stop the notes after you play them. Then we're going to play 3rd fret of the A string, bend up a full step, and then 3rd fret regular. And then 1st fret A string. Then we're going to play 3rd fret of the A string, and then slide up to the 5th fret with wide vibrato. Notice how you wait a little bit before you slide up? And here's this whole section again at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, section 2 of solo 2. A little bit longer here, but we'll break it up into pieces. Here it is at normal and then slow speed. All right, so first we're going to do this part. All right, what you're doing there is you're sliding up to the 7th fret of the A string. Now you'll notice that it shows that I've got like a ghost note at the 1st fret. That's just an approximation of where you slide from. I wouldn't get too hung up on that. But when I slow down the original, and I've seen people tab it this way, not that tabs are always right, we know that. People tend to start with that 1st fret note, but somewhere down there you slide up to the 7th fret. And then we're going to play the 5th fret of the D, hammer on to 7, pull off to 5. And then 7th fret A, 7th fret D, 7th fret A. And then 5th fret D, slide down. Okay? Then we're going to do a kind of similar pattern but on different strings and a little bit higher up the neck. What we're going to do is we're going to slide up to the 9th fret of the D string, followed by 7th fret of G. And then 9th fret of G, pull off to 7, and then 9th fret of D. And then 7th fret of G, hammer on to 9, 8th fret of B. Okay? So far, we've got this. And that goes by pretty quickly. It's you know, I'm not sure if I necessarily want to categorize it as one of the Neil Schon bursts of speed, but it goes by pretty quick, that little ascending part right there. Then we're going to play the 10th fret of the B string, bend up a full step, halfway back down, and then a slow bend back up. And then at the top, you're going to hold that bend, the 10th fret of the B, then you're going to play the 10th fret of the high E, okay? Then you're going to keep holding the 10th fret of the high E and the B string now. You're going to bend up on the B string only, okay? So again, you're fretting both the 10th fret of the high E string and the B string, but only bending up on the B string a full step. And then at the top of that, you're going to hit the high E note again, and then both notes at the top of that bend and bring it down. Okay? Pull off to 8. Okay? Then you're going to play 9th fret of G and then 8th fret of B twice. So here's that second half again. So here's this whole section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, now we get to section 3 of solo 2. We've got some pretty cool bends here that you get to really dig into. Very bluesy, almost country-like feel because we're in a major key. And it goes like this, at regular and then slow speed. So first, we're going to bend up at the 10th fret of the high E string. Kind of dig into this one. It's kind of a slow bend, right? Now notice I'm using my index finger here, and I'm going to be switching to my pinky right after. The reason being is it just feels more natural coming out of the last section. That's why I'm doing that, okay? Then we're going to play the 10th fret of the high E. This is where I switch to my pinky for the high E. Followed by 10th fret of the B, bend up. And then 8th fret of B, vibrato. So far. Okay. Then we're going to play the 10th fret of the high E with a pinch harmonic. And then the 9th fret of the G, bend up a full step, and again, dig into that one. Okay. Then we move back to the B string, and you'll notice I start with a little scratch note before the 10th fret. Goes by really quickly. A lot of times you'll see that tabbed as an 8th fret note. And that's fine if you want to do it as an 8th fret note, like really quickly. But to me it sounds more like Neil may have been going for that 8th fret note perhaps, but he ended up kind of as a scratch note. So somewhere in between is fine if you want to do a scratch note or an 8th fret note, okay? And it's pretty quick. I'll come back to that in a second. Then we do a 9th fret bend to the G string again at full step up. And then 7th fret, G, vibrato, slide down. Okay? But if you want to do the 8th fret note instead of the scratch, it would be, which is fine. But again, to me it sounds more like a scratch note. Okay, here's this section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, section 4 solo 2 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. Now you'll notice that that first note there, we're sliding up to the 16th fret. You don't pick that note. Remember how you went down after the last 7th fret note in the prior section? Then you're going to slide up without picking the note to that 16th fret. Okay? And then you're going to play the 17th fret of the B string, 1/2 step up bend. Kind of a slow bend, dig into that one. Okay? Then you're going to play the 17th fret of the B followed by 15th fret of the B. And then 17th fret of the G, bend up. I tabbed it as a 3/4 step because to me it sounds somewhere between half step and full step. But if you go halfway up or full, either way is probably going to be fine. Okay, and then 17th fret G followed by 15th fret G, and then 17D, 17G, 17D, and then 15th fret G, 17th fret D with vibrato. Very kind of bluesy lick. There's a lot of bluesy licks in this solo, right? So here's this whole section again at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's move to the last section. All right, the last section goes like this at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's cut this section in half. The first is where we go. Okay, so first you're going to play the 17th fret of the G string, bend up a full step. Then 15th fret of B, 18th fret, pull off to 15. 17th fret of G. Okay, so far. Right, those are the first 4 notes. Then the next 4 notes where we go. That's one of those little burst things that Neil does, and it goes by really, really quickly. Okay. In fact, I've seen it often tabbed where people skip that first 15th fret note. Okay, and instead just go. Either way, you should be fine, really, because this part, it goes by so quickly that I think most people have a hard time deciphering it or even knowing what's going on. I had to really slow this one down to isolate the notes and to hear what's going on, but that's what he's doing there. Now, I honestly think that when Neil was playing, he just kind of was winging it at that part. I don't think he really, I'm not sure, but I doubt that he intended to actually play, you know. I think he was just picking fast while he was playing. And that's what came out. And honestly, you could probably replace that with something like, and no one would know, right? That would sound like this. Most people won't know if you do that, okay? But again, I want to get it as accurate to the original as possible. So here's what we have so far, the first half at normal and then slow speed. And then the second half is where we go. This part should be easier. We start with the 15th fret of the high E, followed by a 17th fret bend on the G string, up, down, pull off to 15. And then another 17th fret G string, pull off to 15. And then with that 15 note, give it a little half step bend up. And then 17D, pull off to 15. 17A with vibrato. So again, the second half goes like this, at normal and then slow speed. All right, here's section 5 one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, now here's solo 2, slowed down. I'm going to play it 3 times slowed down so you can practice along. Here we go. Alright, that was my video showing you how to play the first two guitar solos from the classic Journey song, Stone in Love. If you found it helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.